Yeah, what up, people? This is Chaos from the Theory of Chaos. Before I get started with this video, man, this weekend was awesome. The weather was lovely. Man, the energy of the city was back through the roof. Man, everybody out enjoying themselves. Man, I had to fro out doing froey things and just really enjoying the vibe. Man, it was amazing. So, to those who are checking out this video, I hope you enjoyed yourself and your family as well. So now let's get to business. All right. This video today is what I believe to be Dr. King's blueprint for the black community and why the movement died with him. All right, man. Some people believe that Dr. King was using the civil rights movement as a pivot to put him in position to fight for economical. Now let's start with education. Now, what I'm about to read to you, I took from a study, and the study goes as the wealthiest 10% of U.S. school districts spend nearly 10 times more than the poorest 10%, and a spending ratio of 3 to 1, meaning for every $3 they spend in the poor communities, they only spend 1. Now, with schools in our communities being underfunded, teachers undervalued, poor outdated curriculums, oversized classrooms, our kids are being taught to only be laborers and not the boss. So now, if you take communities such as Tulsa and Springfield, Illinois, two self-sustaining black communities, and gave them civil rights, social and economical rights, what do you think they will look like today? All right, now let's just say bring Tulsa and Springfield, two black-owned, black-operated, self-sustaining communities that thrive with little to zero rights, and just say we leveled the playing field. What would the face of the world, the United States, look like now? I mean, that would be, we would have our own industries. Instead of being the athlete, we'll be the owner as well. Instead of being just the nurse or the doctor, we will own the hospitals. We would treat our own. Our educational systems would look a whole lot different. Instead of kids waiting to go to a library or go home to hear about their heritage and the culture of Black America and what we provided and brought to the table, they could sit in a classroom and hear it. Instead of our kids being taught to be laborers, they'd be taught to be bosses. So, in other words, every industry that we have in America, whether it's sports, whether it's music, whether it's fashion, everything that we in America, Black America, we're the idea, we're the sweat, we're the labor behind it, but we're not the beneficiaries of the profit. All right, so the powers that be, they couldn't have that. They couldn't have another Tulsa on their hands. They couldn't have another Springfield. They couldn't have another Rosewood, because they knew they still needed us. They knew that they still needed our labor in order to succeed. So what did the powers to be do? They publicly assassinated Dr. King. And it's my belief that the reason they did this, because they knew the psychological weight of publicly assassinating him and what that meant to the people that was around him. So, it was basically saying that this is the line, don't cross it. If you do, you know the repercussions of it. We ain't scared to kill you or your family, and there's nothing you can do about it. So, fear is a powerful tool, man. It's very, very powerful. Um, so the people next to King erred on the side of self-preservation and took the crumbs that were given and just went to their own perspective corners. Now, I'm not saying that it's definitely not a good thing, but if Dr. King had took on that thought process of worrying about himself, then maybe we wouldn't have the rights that we have now. So, in some form of fashion, we have to get out of the thought process of me, 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 and understand that, as long as we keep trying to fight these battles on individual fronts, we will continue to lose as individuals. So everything that you have worked hard for, as far as educating your child, you bust your ass to make sure that your kid has the best opportunities that you didn't have, or maybe you did have, either or. But all that can be taken away just because of the color of your skin, of your child's skin. So then everything you did would be for naught. So, I say if Dr. King could speak now, and I really think he would say, this ain't what the fuck I put my life on the line for. No, this ain't what that was for, man. For people of color to sit and be complacent, or to keep thinking that, I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know what people are thinking of, what people are expecting. Actually, that's the kind of feedback that I'm looking for. What is actually holding Black America back? Why hasn't anyone put the foot on the gas to bring forth, a better world for the Black community? Is everybody is doing for themselves, and I know if I see this, other people have to see this as well, man. That strategy just ain't gonna work. It's not working, and you shouldn't have to wait till your kid, your wife, your mother, your brother is shot down in the streets for you to want to do something about it. And like I said, if we don't start now, then we are a failure to our kids. All that hard work and education, you're a failure to your kid if you keep sitting back being complacent and saying that I made it. This ain't the times that we living in. We never lived in those times. This is a race. This is what it is. And some people physically stop running the race because they feel like they fulfilled their part of it. Or they ran they 1 meter, now it's time for everybody else to run theirs. Nah, man, you gotta keep going. You gotta keep pushing. We gotta put this together. I what really got me to this point, like I've always had an idea of what I wanted out of this life, but I couldn't put my finger on how to go about accomplishing it, or even what it looked like, to how even to start it. So I came across a guy named Dr. Claude Anderson, and I heard him speaking, and he was talking about powernomics, and just hearing that little bit of what he was speaking about in powernomics, um, a light went off in my head, and it was like the answer is so simple as into how we can get out of this hole and get things back in perspective of where they could be and where they should be. Now I haven't read that book, so to all that's listening, Dr. Claude Anderson, Powernomics. I did read Black Labor, I think White Wealth. I think that's what it is. I actually need to read it again because it's been a minute. Um, and for whatever reason, I've been slipping and I haven't went and got Powernomics yet, which I probably should do within the next couple of weeks. But yeah, so that's where part of the motivation came from. And just, of course, every time I look at my kids and every time I hear about and see it, don't even have to be somebody being killed. It's just how we are treated as a whole across the world. It irks me. And of course, it's you can't just go out and go upside everybody's head and think that that's going to bring about change. But you have to do something. And that's all this is about, is me putting my best foot forward to do something. Yeah, and that's it. So this next one, it'll be about Malcolm X and integration and how to tie both of those two together, Dr. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X together, because like I say, we have the blueprints. Two of the best blueprints ever written, and we ain't using them. And like I say again, what the fuck the king die for? What did he die for? It's just my theory. I appreciate those who listen. I hope you share this. And like I said, if anybody is interested in giving me ideas, man, by all means, questions, answers, solutions. I don't care what it is. Just let's start an open form of communication, man. And that's it, yo. Enjoy the rest of your day.